Well, hello. It is week 7 of 570, and we are going to look at what's going on this week. Week 7, as I've been giving you each week, is the big project, right? This is your assignment number 4, reflective practice presentation. But before we jump into that, we're still looking at literature on reflecting, on thinking, on reflective practice. So the reading this week is part 2 of the Dewey text. So you're going to read through that. Again, use whatever resources you need to help you read through that. Feel free to paste sections into ChatGPT, Google Bard, Microsoft Bing, whatever may be helpful for you, or just read through it, kind of a bunch of times. That response is going to get posted to Flipgrid, Microsoft Flip, and that's kind of the only kind of other thing you need to do. In courses like this, you tend to have many small tasks. There's just 3 big chunks. The Dewey with Flip reflection. There's the week 7 discussion board. So this one is, I think, my favorite of them all. David Foster Wallace talking about This is Water, commencement speech, and you're going to just share kind of like the really traditional discussion board prompt, like what stood out to you, why, what does it mean to you, how this thesis relates to the course about reflective practice. When this course got kind of revamped, this was the first thing that I watched. Kind of, quickly went through the whole thing. I was like, all right, gotta watch this speech. I think I'd seen it years ago, but getting to see that was just like, I think you're really going to enjoy it. The big thing this week is your reflective practice presentation. So I'm going to just quickly look over kind of the rubric. Let me just take a sip of water. Hang on a sec. I'm going to give us examples of reflective practice, summary of common models of reflective practice, the information you gathered, the implications of it. The big thing I want to talk about is actually what it looks like and what you're going to be doing with it. So make sure that this is a multimedia presentation. There's a lot of different ways of doing this. Increasingly, Canva tends to be one of my favorite platforms to recommend, although a variety of things can do that. You just want to make sure that we're getting your voice, and I would strongly encourage you to also have a video of you. So anything that puts you kind of the bottom corner, we see your screen, or like kind of half and half, that works as well. Zoom will do that. There's one, and I think it's genuinely AI, called Descript, like description, where you can actually record all of it. It puts you in a nice circle in the corner, and then gives you the screen where you would just have your presentation. And the cool thing about Descript is you can transcribe it, and then if there's a sentence you want to remove, you just click on the transcript, delete those words, and then it edits your video to match the transcript, which is pretty cool. So if you want to try something completely new, feel free. Screencastify does a great job of that. Just screen sharing, and the Zoom meeting also will do that. You can add video to a Keynote file. Lots of different ways to do that, or even just record your audio and do a screen recording, put those two together. Definitely make sure we have your voice, and I would encourage you to also have your face, just like you're getting right now, only you're not seeing the screen. One of the pieces I want to speak to on the rubric is general aesthetics. So with this one, I'm going to just read what a 10 out of 10 looks like on the rubric. Presentation embodies an organized, clean appearance with minimal use of text. Images are clear and outlined. Any video used is embedded directly. So, break that down. Clean appearance means you don't want to have stuff kind of all over the place. When I'm really working on a presentation, I'll often have just one image and between 0 and like 6 words. And then I'm using either speaker notes or just kind of like I've practiced it enough and I'm just kind of speaking to the slide. You definitely want minimal use of text. I would strongly encourage you not to use bullet points or an ordered list, or I guess an unordered list. any of those things, because that's where it tends to become more of a document and less of a presentation. You really want to find those visuals that make what you're communicating stickier, and the less text, the more compelling visuals, the better you're going to communicate in that presentation. When you're looking at images, make sure you're either using Creative Commons images, you're creating your own. Canva has a wide variety of fantastic assets you can drag in. Also has little AI baked into it where you can go text to image inside of Canva, just describe what you want, and it's going to automatically generate. They're not going to win you any art awards, but you can get a fairly specific image based on the text that you're entering. The Noun Project is another favorite, where you're going to get these nice visuals that don't look like Microsoft clip art from 25 years ago. That would also be a good one. And then if you're on an Apple using Keynote, there's all kinds of shapes that you can type in that look really, really good. So those are some ideas to get you going. If you want to find like a photograph, looking at Creative Commons, it's just like search.creativecommons. Please just do not do Google image search, right click and copy whatever you happen to find, because those likely are not licensed for use. Those tend to be copyright protected, so please don't just download kind of whatever and paste it in. And definitely not if it's watermarked. Last big thing about this presentation, make sure that you have a slide at the end for references that are APA formatted. As you're going through slides, as you need to cite things, just footnotes, and you can put that on a slide at the very, very end. And that's about it. It's a significant project. It's 100 points. It's your really, kind of summative assessment in this course. And then next week, you're going to just watch each other's videos, comment on them, and that's basically week 8. There's a few other things, but week 7, this is really where you're in it. So that is what I've got for you. The very last thought, I just spent all day yesterday with some teachers on a summer fellowship around AI in education. Fellowship is like a paid 1-day kind of internal PD at our school, which is a super cool idea. And I actually took a picture of the whiteboard. When someone, she's our new high school English teacher, referred to using AI and these resources as a collaborative partner. And I really liked that, because it's not so much like you kind of by the end, I mean, definitely everybody got something different out of it, but there's definitely a sense of like, we don't want to use these websites as an authority, because often just stuff gets made up and is not accurate. There's often lots of bias, like there's many problems baked into it. But thinking about it in terms of like, what's your relationship with this piece of software, and looking at it as a collaborative partner, I think is really, really interesting, because you're still in charge, you're still driving it, but you're kind of using the tool for what needs you have. And I think the real power of it is that you get a variety of, you can treat it with to respond to a variety of needs. So if I just recorded a podcast on my own, and I don't have like an intern or an assistant, but I want a blog post about it, I can just grab a transcript or generate a transcript of my podcast, throw that into ChatGPT and ask for a blog post, paste one of my own blog posts in, and get, kind of match the style of it, so I can have basically kind of an assistant that can like create additional media for me, can give me kind of talking points based on notes I've taken for videos for you, can help edit or draft an email or anything I'm going to write, but looking at like what do I want a collaborative partner for, it was just a really interesting thing. So I will leave you with that. As you have questions about your assignment, reach out, and this is it. This is the big week 7. Enjoy, and looking forward to seeing your reflective practice presentations.